There is 7 o'clock. This is where you join us on YouTube. All right. You can join us on YouTube as we stream audio and video. And of course, the link to join our stream, you can join our stream, is right there on the right hand side on the chat. Just click on it. You'll join us via Zoom. Okay. But we can still take your calls at 222-8255 and 612-8255. And those up in the north can call us at 866-525-1099. All right, there's our Zoom link. Please mute all audio feeds, all right, when you're calling us, all right? In London, this is where, if you want, you could join us via our YouTube link or give us a call, all right? The YouTube link is free. All right.
Yeah. For those who are asking why we're asking the question, is because the festival is officially ended.
Yeah, officially.
I mean, we were calling it a carnival, but the official name is TOMAC. Acronym is TOMAC, which is Tobago Arts, Culture and Music Festival, which incorporated food, fashion, music, sightseeing, a lot of different aspects of what Tobago's tourism product aims to market to the world.
Mm-hmm.
It officially ended last time with Burna Boy's concert. There were a few parties started for the weekends and boat rides, but some of them kind of question mark,
Yes.
Given the weather alert, and I know the Harbour Master, a few people had booked the Harbour Master to do a couple of events. They had cancelled those given the yellow alert. Well, now it's orange, so it's even more serious,
Yeah.
So
All right. So we got a lot of calls coming through, Pablo. So let's go to it. Good morning to you, caller.
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Dr. Paul Richard.
Morning, Ellie. What's happening?
I'm doing good, man. How are you guys doing?
Not bad at all.
Other than this concert here, Steve, this is the first time I hear this person named Burna Boy. I didn't even know who I'm from. I'm too old, yeah?
Because we're too old. If you're old, you're going to be Burna Boy.
Yes, Dr. Richard, I really said I'm too old. And the first time I hear this person, Burna Boy, what is a song artist or something? What he is?
He's an Afrobeats artist.
Afrobeat.
You don't even know what Afrobeats is.
Afrobeat.
Yeah, he's an Afrobeats artist. You don't even know what Afrobeats is. That's how devastating it is.
I'm telling you, wow. Paul, what's your opinion on Elon Musk taking over Twitter, boy? What's your opinion on that?
I think it's all in the vein of his political run for president next.
Okay.
But Elon Musk is a real billionaire, unlike Donald Trump, a real billionaire, and he's actually a very bright man. So he can tell himself, if Donald Trump can be president, I can be president too.
Mm-hmm.
I think his acquisition of Twitter is all in the vein of his announcement, which I'm sure will come in due course for running for president of the United States. When you have that kind of money, is only one thing left to do, you're going to be president.
Yeah. Paul, Dr. Paul, Elon Musk, yeah, I don't know if you know, but I just say that I don't know, I don't really follow his background, but I just say he's from South Africa or South African background he has. He's from South Africa?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I was talking about something like that, he have a South African background. And over here, divided by the left and the right, and
as he acquired he done fired the CEO and them already, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, how you doing, buddy? How everything going? Health-wise and things come around 100% now?
Not 100% yet.
Hey, Steve, when I come back from Trinidad, at the end of September. I come back from Trinidad, and then a week after I come and get COVID.
Lord.
But it only lasts a week, yeah?
Yeah.
I wanted over here, the Miller South, everybody get 2 packages of home tests. So each home test have two tests in it. Everybody get it.
Right.
And that's to everybody in California. And so
but you okay now, right?
Yeah. I didn't know. I didn't
Good.
know.
All
I hear about just to go about partner Steve Dong.
Yeah, boy. It felt like a rock. All right. Thanks, Ellie. All the best to you. Good morning, caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Orlando calling. How are you, my brother?
Yes, Orlando. Morning. Not bad at all. Not bad at all.
So as I was saying earlier,
Mm-hmm.
it is so depressing to listen to the Trinidad news. I have stopped listening to you guys. Not that you guys don't do a good job. You do an excellent job. But I'm just tired of all the mayhem and the crisis and the killing. My question is this. Could we not say, okay, maybe on a Friday...
Yeah, I'm not hearing you clearly, yeah, Orlando.
Let me try again. Hold a second.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take you off my AirPod.
Okay, yeah, maybe that's the problem.
Is that any better?
Oh, there we go. Yes.
Yes, I had you on my AirPod and I'm out exercising.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that, could we not dedicate a Friday and say, okay, on this Friday is a good news Friday. Let people call in and say positive things that are happening. I'm so tired. I was only hearing, what I understand, you guys have to report the news. Okay? I'm just asking, could we not introduce and say, whatever cadence you choose, guys, tell me something good that's happening in your life. You know, my kids passed the SEA. You know, my son did this. Something positive. It's frightening. And I want to give you a new story, and then I'll let somebody else call in. About 23 years ago, are you hearing me?
Yes.
About 23 years ago, my firm was contracted to outsource a help desk for a major insurance company in Atlanta. Okay? Let me fast forward. After doing my analysis, our analysis, Trinidad and Bangladesh came up on top, with Trinidad having the edge. One, proximity, to do a direct flight from Delta to Atlanta to Trinidad, ease of understanding the language, and also dollar. When we presented to the board with our recommendation, it was shut down. You know why it was shut down? The secretary brought in and he said, listen, as much as you guys are recommending Trinidad, we have been monitoring the Trinidad newspapers for 3 weeks, and every day is mayhem and calamity. There seems to be nothing positive coming out of Trinidad. And he said, in his judgment, he cannot endorse a country that will put his executives at risk if they go down there. So I'm saying we need to change the narrative. We understand it's bad. It's all over the world. Jamaica, higher crime index than Trinidad, but yet everyone flocks to Jamaica. Why? We need to change it. And maybe if you guys can say, okay, this Friday, guys, tell us something positive in your life. Something. It may start tuning the negative narrative. I go offline now. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Orlando. Thank you so much. Let me bring Dean in. Good morning, Dean.
Who is Dean, Steve?
Is not Dean? I'm not seeing his name.
You ain't recover yet,
No.
You seen Derek and Bolin, Dean?
Derek.
Something wrong. Like this thing affects
Derek,
your
morning.
eyes. Wow.
Morning. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I just wanted to touch on, two things, but the first thing is, I thought it was a good idea the way in the newscast you all would have highlighted the fact that the Ministry of Education made a change from what they did the last time. I think a lot of times you get the news, you lose the context, and it's important to kind of maintain that context and to hold people to the standard that we want them to. So, last time they did something and it was.
What change did they make?
This was when they made the announcement at 8 p.m. last night with respect to closing schools. They
didn't really make a change. What they said last time, what the minister said last time, I should say, is that the advisory to close schools came out late because they were waiting for the ODPM or the Met services, to raise the level from yellow to orange. The level was raised last night, so they followed the same protocol they used last time. It's just that the alert was changed much earlier. So I guess there was more collaboration in that vein.
So on Netflix, right? There's this I look at Korean dramas. unabashed. But so there's like a Korean drama that deals with the Korean Met Services, right? They're a meteorological organization, and one of the things that in that show, one of the things that they have to deal with, this is the Korean Met Services, is the impact of the decisions that they make and the timeliness of the decisions, like when the decisions have to come out. So it's a thing that they factor into their decision making. So they know that if we are having, or we expect to have, impactful weather, adverse weather, then and we need to make a decision, we need to put out an alert, then we need to take into account when this alert needs to go out by, right? So that people can have time to prepare. And when they don't do that, and I'm talking in their case, they had maybe maybe a thunderstorm, and they were like, they didn't give like a 1 hour warning, which is something we would never get, and they got a lot of flack for it. So I'm just saying we need to hold people in authority, the Met Services in this particular case, Ministry of Education.
They learn from their situation last time, because the advisory usually comes at 6 a.m., which is not sometimes the most productive time for people to change their plans on the fly.
Yeah. The second thing I wanted to touch on was the question, Paul, this week about firearms. I know the previous caller wanted was talking about having a good Good News Friday, and I think the point he raised about investors and people looking in at what is going on and what is being reported in the media is a very important point. But at the same time, we do need to have, I believe, conversations that will move our understanding forward and that will take us forward as a society. Because a lot of times I get the sense that when we discuss crime and firearms and the ills of society, it sort of coalesces around talking points, and we don't seem to move forward because everyone is just sort of circling or orbiting a particular perspective that is never interrogated, is never and is never interrogated in a way that would allow us to sort of take us to where we need to be. We always keep same talking points. So to the question of firearms, I would just like to put what I think are like some insights that I've seen with the data that I work with. So I had some experience with, a couple of years ago, I've been to a few academic conferences we've had locally on crime and what we can do, and again, same talking points. But to me, this was 2015 or thereabout. There was a point where the question about where these guns are coming in from, and that was being explored. And I remember listening to a panel where the chief of the not defense staff, he would have been, this is Captain Petrard, so he would have been head of Coast Guard, Mr. Stephen Williams, the head of this would have been, the head of customs, right? Minister of National Security. So they were all sitting down on a table and trying to figure out where these guns are coming from. And the police were saying, well, we don't secure the borders. It's not our responsibility. When it comes on shore, that's when we have to deal with it. The Coast Guard was saying at the time that, well, all of these guns that are coming in, we don't see it. People are saying that it's coming in on the sea, right? And, I think the minister was talking about the loss of, OPV and whatever. But the Coast Guard was saying at the time that, well, for all of these firearms that are coming in, we don't find it in the pirogues. We intercept 25, 30-foot pirogues, and we don't see it coming in. So it has to be the official ports. And the person at the port was saying, well, even though we don't, they have their problems, but, she was saying that she doesn't think that it was a question of containerized cargo coming in and people coming in with, and so everybody was just sort of batting in their corner and defending their position and their organization, I suppose. At the same time, there's something called when you retrieve a firearm off the ground, sometimes the agencies down here would trace it. They will contact the Americans, the ATF, and there's something called the time to crime. And around that time, the time to crime started to change, and it went to like 2 to 3 months. And time to crime is basically when you find a firearm and you go back, there's a serial number on it. You go back and you do a trace, and you see the first time it was sold in a retail transaction in the United States, if it was in fact from the United States, and then the time between when that was sold initially and when you found it, when it was seized on the ground, that's the time frame that they're looking at. And that was found to be on the order of around 2 to 3 months. So what that basically says is that, that could not have come through the usual narco routes where, it comes through Mexico, Colombia, and it comes down and then it ends up on a pirogue and it comes into Trinidad. That had to have been a much faster route. So that was the first bit of evidence that suggested that, the thing had changed. Essentially, it was coming through official ports. And then that now would also lend evidence, in my view, to this notion that, it debunks, I think, claims that people are stockpiling weapons. Because if you're stockpiling, the question of, well, why would you have to keep, if I have a stockpile of weapons, then why am I keep ordering, weapons all the time, and I'm seeing time to crimes of 2 to 3 months, right? Sometimes even shorter. That bit of evidence, in my view, it counts against that. What we have, I think, is something that's just in time, and we have logistical avenues, logistical lines that are able to get firearms from the United States into Trinidad in a much shorter time period. And in that scenario, you don't really need to have a lot of firearms, truckloads or container loads of firearms coming in. It's just 10 a month, and if somebody loses something, he places an order, just like how we would do. You go on Amazon, you place an order, and it comes in what you need. And that appears to me to be what is supported by the data that I've seen. So the question is, when we talk about firearms, and what I would like, if we can change the conversation, is to firearm by itself coming into the country is not the only thing that we need to focus on. So a firearm is just a piece of metal, right? Just a piece of metal. You need ammunition, and you need somebody to shoot the firearm. I mean, if you have a firearm and somebody who can shoot it without ammunition, then you could probably do some intimidation. You could, scare somebody, whatever, but you still can't kill someone. You still need ammunition, and you need something to pull the trigger. So when you look at what the police have been saying, it's a small number of people that are doing all of this shooting, right? And we don't ever talk about ammunition. So that, I think, those 3 things, I think we need to spend more time on, as opposed to simply, the firearm. And, I mean, that is important, yes, but consider this. We have been seeing with these larger weapons, 5.56 caliber weapons, that, the rounds are some of the rounds that you'd find on crime scenes have, came from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service or the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. And they know this because on the case in itself, they would put like a little imprint at the manufacturer. They'll stamp TTPS or they'll stamp TTDF. And this was a way to track whether or not ammunition was being used for illegal purposes. So there is like a nexus, there is some leakage, right? The other thing is that with all of these, with the influx, I shouldn't say influx, but with the proliferation of private firearm dealers and trainers and all these things, these people also are allowed to bring in ammunition. And the question is now, how much, how stringent are the controls on the ammunition that these firearm dealers, right, have? You go to the range, for instance, and you order a box to shoot, a box of whatever ammunition you're using to shoot. But what are the checks and balances that are in place to ensure that, that ammunition from the private dealers are not, flowing into, into these, gangs, street gangs or whatever it is, and are fueling that kind of a crisis that we're seeing there. So it has to be sort of a holistic sort of a thing. The ports are important with the importation, but we also have means through which ammunition can be imported into the country, and it seems like it's a easier thing, to get, because when you look at the number of rounds that you see at a typical crime scene, and again on the shooting side, we know the shooters. We know that it's a small number of shooters that are perpetrating these crimes, and you can tell this by, again, looking at the number of firearms that are. When you do your analysis, they see that the number of arms that are used repeatedly, it's a small number. It's like low hundreds, about 100, between 100 and 200. Mm-hmm. So faster, some sort of a faster mechanism to deal with, gun crime laws. You take people into courts, have a dedicated gun court. It's an economic problem, and if you don't deal with the supply side of it, and we also have to deal with the demand side of it, and if we don't crack down on this in a holistic and in a holistic way, then we would never solve this problem. So all I'm saying is that, we need to move this conversation and look at it in a holistic sense. It's firearms. When you're speaking to the powers that be, ammunition. What are we doing about ammunition? Right? What are we doing about the private, the ways that ammunition can come into the country legally and then be siphoned off? And then what are we doing about shooters, the small number of people that are perpetrating these crimes?
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Derek, for coming on board this morning with us on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Okay, you two can join us on YouTube. Our link is on the chat right next to our YouTube link, on our YouTube channel, I should say, and you can join the conversation. Good morning to Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida. Good morning. Happy Friday, everyone. Have a blessed day and weekend. Everyone, please stay safe through the storm. All right. Miss Ingrid, good morning to you as well. Enjoy your weekend. Herder Wells, good morning, everyone. Please be safe from Queens, New York. Anthony Tinto out in Canada. Good morning, guys. Hope you all have a great day. God bless. Thank you so much. Right. Thank you so much. You can join our link. The link is right next on our chat. Just click on it. You'll come in via Zoom. We're also taking your calls at 222-8255, 612-8255, and those in North America, 866-525-1099. Of course, that's a toll-free number. Good morning, caller.
Hey, morning.
Morning, Mr.
Morning to everybody, man. Paul
Morning.
Richards,
Yes, sir.
Ragoobarsingh, Steve Khan, Wendell.
Yeah, morning, Mr. Patrick.
How things? You see that group what they talking about? Buddy boys?
Burner boy.
Burner boy.
I mix up that group with the Proud Boys and Babylon. You know about Proud Boys from Babylon, right?
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Do a lot of a collaboration with Farmer Natty and them well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Burner boys from Nigeria.
Right, from Nigeria, right. I get mixed up with that. But we wanna wait until the smoke clear to see the Tobago Carnival was productive or wherever it was, you understand? Because half of them shows, me and none but them shows, you understand?
Maybe you're in the wrong circles.
Yeah, you're laminating the wrong people, Mr. Patrick.
Boy, I was busy doing some work, yes. I was busy painting and fixing and everything, boy. So my mind wasn't on them thing right now. Mr. Richard, I will assist me if you could assist me or Mr. Richard Ragoobarsingh.
Of course they can.
Right. Is that incident in Arima where a Venezuelan woman was arrested? I don't know if you all saw that.
No. Well, go ahead.
She was parked up in Arima in a no parking zone, and some police in Arima was on patrol, and
I saw it.
I didn't know if it was a Venezuelan woman, and I thought it looked kind of like in San Fernando. I wasn't sure where it was.
It looked like San Fernando to me.
No, it was in Arima.
It was Arima, okay.
And she was eventually escorted.
Have a confrontation with that. So the long bottom line is you man get 8 charges. Yes? She don't have the driver's permit, she don't have insurance, she failed to deal with the police, she assaulted 2 officers and things. But a guy was asking me a question. Could a police
2 officers.
male officer arrest a woman and lay hands on a woman?
Yes, he could arrest a woman. The people around were asking that a female officer deal with the woman, but the woman was resisting the instructions of the police.
Mm-hmm.
From what I saw, she was. They asked her for a license and insurance. I think they asked her to come out of the car. She refused. She was trying to get back into the car. They didn't want her to get back into the car because the impression they probably got is she was going to drive off.
Right, but there are people up there yesterday that are in discussion, and a male guy, he's a Venezuelan.
A guy is usually male, yes. I don't know what the rules are. Usually the productive thing is that female officers search females.
I understand that, but
search females.
I was in Jersey at the time.
But I don't know that male officers can't arrest a female. female officers are called to search females.
That's it. Searching is
Right.
Yeah, searching is something different to arresting.
Mhm.
But I don't know that you could always not look for a female officer to arrest a female who is presumed to have committed a crime.
Yeah, but the lady was resisting. And they said,
So what is supposed to do? Go let her resist, jump in the car and go and call a female officer? That's what it's supposed to do, right?
Lord,
Leave her, let her jump back in the car and drive off until they find a female officer. That don't make no sense.
so I asked the guy, so if you are no female officer, as you know, it has a female.
If my understanding of it, I could be wrong, is if there is a search procedure to be carried out, a male officer should not be searching a female.
Right,
Correct.
But if you have to detain and arrest a female who is resisting instructions, I don't think that there's any rule prohibiting male officers from restraining her and or detaining and arresting her.
Yeah.
But that could be somebody could correct me if I'm wrong.
No driver's permit, no insurance, nothing.
Yeah. And
You know how many people driving like that right now?
No driver's permit, no insurance.
so I don't know that their job was to allow her to jump back in the car when they were clearly telling her, from what I saw, come out of the car and provide the documents, and she was resisting that.
Now, let's say some police officer call in and clarify that. Because I know a police officer could arrest any citizen.
Anybody.
And so it depends on the police service and it depends on what the rules are. I cannot say for sure what the rules are in a Trinidad and Tobago context. I'm not sure with regard to police process and procedure. I know in some countries, I believe a male officer can't arrest a female. It has to be a female. But I'm not so sure what the context is in a Trinidad context.
No, you could arrest, but you cannot search it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So a police officer who's listening can answer that.
Answer that. All right, later. All right.
Thank you. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Dr. Paul. Good morning, Richard.
Morning, my dear. How are you this rainy morning?
Well, the sun is peeping out by me. We hardly just get anything up on the hill here, thank God. Concerning the female officer, Alexander spoke about that. He said if there isn't a female officer with them, they could appoint any female in the area to help, if that is an issue.
And if a female don't want to help?
Well, must have somebody, I don't know, must have somebody.
They must have somebody. People don't want to get involved. They can say, not me get involved in that.
Yeah, but they are the law. They ain't going to search. They don't need a female officer to help get her out of the car.
That is my thought process. It's not they didn't. From what I saw, they didn't search her. They didn't attempt to search her.
Well, that is what you were saying. It's a search business that any female.
They were trying to get her to comply with the lawful instruction of an officer, which she was resisting. From what I saw.
Exactly. She was.
You can't do A1 because you're female when the officers instructing you.
Exactly. You know, some people wrong and strong.
Exactly. That's what I saw. And she knew why she was resisting.
Because she know what she was doing. And
yes.
Driving without driving.
Yes.
They even have false ID card and all kind of thing going on.
You're going on another road.
That's a different story.
I'm telling you what I know. Richard, when I
Who is they talking about? Who they?
Huh?
Who they talking about her false ID card? Who is they?
The Venezuelans.
You know she's Venezuelan?
Huh?
You know she's Venezuelan?
If I know, no.
If you know that she is Venezuelan?
No. I'm talking about somebody said that she was Venezuelan. So I said they are driving with all kind of false documents.
All right, Miss Sampson, thank you. That's a different story. Good morning.
Morning to all in the studio.
Morning.
Good morning.
I don't know how many times Inspector Alexander will say this. I think, and a guy called yesterday on the tape, and he said, you all need to go public, like how they used to go and say, don't send off fireworks. Remember Joanna Archie every independence, right? Let the public know. You see this nonsense people is be talking about. A male police can arrest a female. Where they get that from?
That makes no sense to me.
Exactly. So if this woman did pull out a Glock, and so they would have had to
good point.
call for backup.
Good point. They had to call for a female officer to restrain her.
Call for backup. A Rima, whoever, wherever it happened. Could you send a female police officer?
Yeah.
The woman is trying to shoot us.
Rolls eyes.
Serious, all you're saying?
Rolls eyes.
I mean, they don't. I mean,
And you don't think about what they're saying.
they don't think. I mean, when you watch these news abroad, I saw a male police floor a woman. She hit the concrete. He put his knee before George Floyd. They're doing that.
Well, I ain't sure about that correct, but
They
I understand the point.
arrested her. Watch any. I mean, now they're cautious about how they're arresting people and putting. But that knee, that elbow goes in your back, right? So you see that nonsense with and a female and these people, Lord,
Nonsense.
Italians, this really upset you when they go on and talk this kind of nonsense. Please, TTPS, send out your PR people and let people in Trinidad and Tobago know what
They know, you know, they just like to talk.
what the male officers could do. I want to ask Richard. I saw this is something on the news, so I could speak about it, where judgment was given to Mr. Shearer from the Privy Council. And I'm saying, wow, when Martin George started to talk about cases who got 100,000 and a little bit of money, and the Privy Council, like, is where when you go there, you get final judgment in your favor. So I am asking, and I keep asking this, the 7 people who went blind, I think Richard had asked you that already. It seems as though they either was paid, and it probably, how they just call it, a sealed or whatever, because up to now, we could hear the nursing home, Mr. Shishera, when did his surgery, and the doctor who was sued. Up to now, we don't know who was the doctor that gave those 7, 1, 2, 3, 7 patients an injection in their eye, and they went blind. Now, I am a person, I had 2 cataract surgeries. And if I was planning to go and do any surgery as a citizen, I would have liked to know who is that doctor, so I would be able to refrain going there. But so far, that is like top secret. That is like CIA news.
The medical profession of the police, you know. So what a silence, you know.
They covering this man. I mean, come on. Up to now, nobody can know what is the name of that doctor. This thing is unbelievable. I will keep talking about it. I don't know if I could go to the Freedom of Information and get that information. I don't know, Richard, could you say? Because I would like to know.
Only if it's a state institution or a public body.
Oh.
If it's a private institution, no.
You can't. Okay, thank you, Richard. But this thing needs to be public. How a man could 7 people go blind and you can't know who is that doctor? Really? Well, I want to say he probably paid those families of those 7 people handsomely for them to not to say a word. And I think
they would probably have. If there was a settlement, they probably signed an NDA that wouldn't mean that they can't speak about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. I think I'd asked you that already, and that is crazy. But if there is a law non-disclosure, maybe that is why I keep saying that.
It's not a law; it's an agreement.
About that non-disclosure, why it is we cannot hear what it is. Who was that doctor? Madness. And you see that lady, I don't know if she's Venezuelan, who the police was getting problems to get out that car. If she's Venezuelan, she would have never do the policia in Venezuela that them respect the Guardia Nacional. She would have come out that car immediately. Only TTPS they could do that. Well, you have a good day. I'm going.
All right, Diego Martin, thank you so much. Let's say good morning, good night to Rena Jennings. Good morning, Rena. She said she kicked one of the officers. All right, Miss Ingrid says, good morning, Richard.
Good morning,
Deborah,
Ingrid.
yeah, Deborah Greaves say hi, Huda Wells. Okay, thank you so much. All right, 7:55. We got 5 more minutes again on our YouTube channel. That's where you can join us. Our link is on YouTube for Power 102 FM Trinidad. On the chat, you'll see our link highlighted in yellow. Just click on it and you can join us. All right. And we are still taking some of your calls at 222-8255. 612-8255, and North Americans, that's a toll-free number for you at 866-525-1099. All right. Eddie is saying, good morning, Paul. Elon Musk cannot run for president of the U.S. because he wasn't born in the U.S. Oh, okay.
Oh, he wasn't?
Apparently not. I didn't know that. I didn't do a Wikipedia.
Let's change the rules here. Thanks for the information.
Yeah. Thank you, Eddie. All right. Anybody?
Yeah, Elon Musk, I believe, was born in South Africa. Yeah.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah. So
Sankofa, good
once
morning.
you're not born in the United States, you can't do that.
All right. Yeah, Sankofa, thank you so much. Good morning to you as well. Blessings to you too. All right. Of course, news coming up at the top of the hour, which is 4 minutes from now, all courtesy Chamfle Auto Services. And just to let you know, I have it right here, that you're ready for a massive Diwali deal at Furniture Plus. Save up to $2,300 on mattresses. City, Sealy, and Therapeutic are all on sale. Sleep better with prices starting from just $999. Available with cash and higher purchase plans. Check press and social media for details. All happening at Furniture Plus. Yeah, thank you so much. Furniture Plus.
Yes. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, Rich.
Okay.